Okay, my name is Engineer Opeifa Ahmed. I'm a graduate of Mechanical and Chemical Engineering.
Wow.
I read Mechanical in Lagos State Polytechnic and Chemical Engineering from the University of Lagos.
Wow.
I'm a registered current engineer.
Wow.
Okay, education background started from let me start from secondary school. I actually went to a boarding house in Ogun State called Engr College, but now Opeifa College.
Wow.
That was where I did my work. I was the senior prefect.
Wow.
Then I proceeded to Lagos State Polytechnic, started mechanical engineering. After my ND, I proceeded to University of Lagos. Simultaneously, I read mechanical and chemical engineering together from Poly and University. After the graduation, I did my youth service. Then I started working. I have some little experience in food and beverages. Okay, I've worked with Fuslands Food, formerly called Wamco. Then I proceeded to, I just did a year in Wamco, and I proceeded to Nestle Nigeria PLC. Okay, I did another year before I joined Accolades. Okay, I think when I was in was it year 2 in Unilag? Okay, I mean I live around this K2. Then we have all these areas. There are many in that my house. Okay, and they formed a committee and they said we should start a carnival. Right. So the very first edition they did that year, I was actually the MC. Okay, and I was of course secretary again. So we invited the LCD chairman. Then Dama was a lecturer in Yabatek, the geologist, and I actually did the introduction that day. Okay, and before I know it, virtually all the areas around the K2, I begin to know me, and they ask of my name, and they say, it's Ahmed. That is Aboki Ahmed now. Aboki, and that is how Aboki came. It was the area. All these are our area guys that actually called me. Initially, I took offense that how would you call me Aboki? Because then, I mean, the instinct is that it is Malam that they call Aboki, and guess what? It has been it has been a landmark name. Even my dad used to call me Aboki. Virtually everybody around me call me Aboki as we speak. In fact, let me quickly put one short story. My dad was doing 70th birthday in Lekki about 5 years ago, and I invited some of my bosses from Sharon from Lekki there. They flew down to the venue, and at the entrance of the hall, and they were like, "Sorry, who is your guest?" Say, Opeifa Ahmed. Nobody's no, he's the second born of the celebrant. It was somebody that said, "It is Aboki they are talking about." And my boss looked at, which one is Aboki? It is Ahmed that are talking about that I'm looking for. Later he got into the hall and he saw the card on the table full Aboki, and he was like, eventually when I saw him say, "Ahmed, you are the one they are calling Aboki. You need to tell me that story when we get back to work." And the same story I just told him, and that's how Aboki just came about. And Aboki it has even taken over my name. Wow. Nobody even know my name. Anywhere you go, Aboki. And unfortunately again, some of my guys did this cap. My guy in UK that sent it to me and customized them. There are many, and they wrote Aboki there. Wow. And that is it.
All right.
The story of Spanish hotels started from being in Baka fan. I'm a core Baka fan, with my late wife of blessed memory. We were actually passionate about Barcelona, especially Messi. Okay, we started from a bar, which is a shop there, and we named it Spanish bar.
Wow.
Okay, and of course, Spanish bar has become a landmark in our area. So everybody understands that the owner of that bar is a Baka fan. Even my home house, there is an engraved Baka logo. Okay, to still signify to people that the owner of this building belongs to Barcelona. So the Spanish name, as it were, actually comes from there. You know, I've done few little things in terms of property investment. You know, I just felt that let me diversify it again. You know, still property, but again in another field entirely. So I got this property, and my husband and I, we had a discussion, and we said, okay, let's build a hotel, and we name it Spanish. In fact, the name does not even, we never even had an issue with that name. Okay, because already we had a Spanish bar. So naturally, the Spanish hotel just, prop up. And that's how it started. Okay, we got the property, you know, a lot of challenges. We are in Lagos, we are in Nigeria, you know. It started from PS, now PHCN, former NEPA. Okay, you know, when you got the property, a huge, a huge NEPA bill on the property, and you that bought it, they made us to realize that you bought liability and property together. I tried to drag it with them. Okay, but in the end, I still have to pay. Okay, we got it demolished. We even demolished. A lot of issues from state government. Okay, but in all, we eventually tried to get it sorted. The Spanish hotel we have here, the land is not big, as it were, you know, but we try to improvise and bring out the best structure out of it. If you look Spanish hotel from afar, you won't even know that it's not that special, you know, and that is the dexterity we have from the architectural all the structural engineers that comes together and put up this structure. Okay, to God be the glory. We have some assets in terms of getting assets from banks. You know, we call it what we bank and try to get some facility that actually help us in putting this together. But the point is, when you are doing projects like this, a lot of issue comes around, but the idea of being optimistic is very important. Being resilient and being focused is where we are going. Okay, and eventually it was possible. Okay, but unfortunately, the whole of the plan was actually between my wife and I. But when we finished this project, that was during the COVID, but eventually she gave up the ghost. That was when we have actually completed. But eventually it was open. But we thank God today that Spanish has become a landmark in Kosofe area environs. Even some people I got calls from abroad, you know, getting to book Spanish hotels. You know, I work in Escaros and Wadi. A lot of people call from Wadi. You know, they've heard about Spanish and it comes around. Okay. Thank you very much. Honestly, it was challenging. Okay. In fact, Spanish hotel was one of the victims of hotel that was locked during COVID.
Wow.
You know, our lounge was actually sealed by the Lagos State government during that COVID. So I had to go and see the Safety Commission GM, and a lot of undertakings that I signed personally, and we were fined. You know, before eventually it was opened. The idea then was that, they never wanted anybody to gather. Okay, and of course, the sales, virtually everything was done that period. Okay, you don't even have lodgers. Everybody, weary of contracting COVID-19. But one of the strengths that actually sustained Spanish, as it were, then was that a lot of things were actually put into consideration when we are setting up Spanish. Okay, we look at it and what are the challenges of having hotel in Nigeria? The biggest challenge is power. Okay, and we actually factor in that challenge when we are building it. And what are the things that we did? We try and latch on energy savings equipment. Okay, all our ACs, microwave, freezers, chillers, fridge in this hotel, as big as it is, they are all energy savings. It's quite expensive, but we are actually enjoying today. Okay, and again, we factor in our locking system too. We use a computer locking system in such a way that you use a card to access your room, right? You slot in your card to the power switch, you have a light, you remove it, everything shut down in the room. So, even it helps you again in terms of generator sets you need to buy. Okay, you realize that you don't need to buy a bigger one that will even be consuming more fuel for you, and even what you consume on a monthly basis, because of course we have MD meters here. Okay, so you realize that during that period, okay, there is power. We don't have power. We have 2 lodgers, 3 lodgers, few customers. We are still sustaining. We are still maintaining. Okay, the business actually was sufficient enough to manage itself and pay for its expenses and the rest. Those are the things that actually help us to manage that challenge during COVID. Of course, what we do basically is hospitality. Okay, here in Spanish Hotel, we have lodging, right? You can actually think if you come to this our area, when you think of where you need to come and relax with peace of mind. Okay, Spanish Hotel is available for you. We have a lounge. Okay, you actually come in and relax, and of course we do clubbing. Okay, we have some club managers, that handles that. Okay. Also, we have hall for virtually all events. Our whole capacity is around 200 to 250 thereabouts. And all what you need to do your party is already in the hall, so you don't need to bring anything. Come down to the hall. Again, we offer spa services that is on request if you need it. Okay, we get them for you. So just think of anything hospitality we are there. Okay, again, it is another unfortunate situation that we found ourselves as a country. Okay, and if you look at the economic situation of Nigeria as it were, fine. A lot of arguments, that's how it is in the world. But I used to tell people, Nigeria is peculiar when we are talking about economy. It's quite unfortunate, but again, we need to survive, okay? One of the things we always need to think about is being competitive in any environment you find yourself as a business owner, okay? You just have to look inward. When we have a situation like this, you need to look inward and see how a cost can be managed, okay? Most of the time, it's not about sacking people. No. Look at your processes. You will still see some opportunities that you can actually capitalize on and bring down your overhead. Okay? even before now, one of the things we have done before we have before the advent of this fuel subsidy removal, okay, at the point in time when we started Spanish Hotel, we are buying diesel at the rate of 170 naira. Okay, and today as we speak, it's around 640.
Wow.
Okay, one of the things that we did again that period was to get a PMS generator again, right, and try and do some electrical isolations of some power. Okay, and it works that period. Okay, now again we have what do we call? We have fuel subsidy removal. Now the diesel and PMS is even almost the same price. Okay, but we are so proactive enough that even before now, at a point in time, I have to walk up to HCN, and talk about them. I have a business. Okay, that power is my challenge. How can you help the business? And they came and they look at the hotel, and at the point in time, they said there was a lot of challenges in trying to get some other lines for me, but at the point in time they came that it is doable. They came with all their safety departments. We have a drawing, we have a conversation, and I was charged. I think I paid close to 5 million naira. Okay, that time this was done, I was actually spending nothing less than $1 million on this one monthly basis. Okay, and we are giving, we are transferred to another line. Okay, and honestly, that has been one of the strengths that we have in Spanish. Okay, I have like 3 gens now. I can't even remember the last time we serviced them. Okay, and power is the heart of this business that we do.
Yeah.
Okay, it's either it may or kill the business. So if you are not proactive enough to deal with it, it will kill the business. So we are proactive enough to deal with it, and that is exactly why we are having some leverages. Another thing again that we did as a business is, let's look at our expenses. Okay, let's look at where we have a waste in this system. Let's cut down the waste. Okay, our whole priority, or personally my priority as a CEO, is not for me to lay off any staff. Okay, rather we look at those things that we are doing that is not adding value to Spanish, then we stop it, so that money can go into other things. And those are the things that we have done, and that's why we are still in the business. Couple of things that we have done. But most times I don't like saying those things because it's about we are doing so many things. Part of it you have just mentioned, the water we did. We have a couple of guys that we have actually established in terms of the artisans, cutting them machine. As we speak today, we have some elderly people in this community that are on the period of Spanish hotels. I don't like saying all those things. Even it's those boys that I handle all this that I'm talking about.
Wow.
A couple of things that we have sent many people to school. We have sent people, and again, one of the things that I always talk about, all these are, I have a lot of boys in case a lot of people knows me, I always like to let them understand the fact that education is key. It's very, very important. It does more than what you think about. Okay, if you are educated or if you are learned, your approach to things differs. Even if you mingle with guys, I am with guys generally. You don't see any difference when I'm with them. Okay, but again, the difference is clear when it comes, when it comes to area of life in terms of dealing with issues. Education. Even if you graduate today, right, you don't have a job. Even if you are doing some handiwork, it shows in what you do. It makes you do things differently, and your perception is quite different from. So it is important that you guys take education important. Okay, I understand the fact that our level of IQ is different, but again, so many things that we can do to just bring that kind of exposure, because when you release some of our guys, I mean, it's a lot of work. A lot of work needs to be done. I mean, they don't see it important. But again, most of them see me as their mentor. So, I mean, they value me so much. There is nothing you want to tell me that is, I mean, you can't, if you're on the street, I'm on the street with you guys, Nothing you don't know anything more than what I know. But I know more than what you don't know now because you are not educated. Okay, on the street we are the same. Okay, but when it comes to the other, if time permits, I can give one side. I can cite an example. There was a time. There was time I was doing IT in Chevron. Even some of them did not even know that I'm a graduate. They don't even know that I'm in school. Some people, because the way they see when I relate with them, I relate at the same level. They are. Okay. Normally, Starbucks pick me and drop me somewhere around Aladilola, and that junction, all the areas that are there, they know me. Each time I want to come down from that car, I always dodge. Because the kind of people I have in the bus, I mean, they are corporate guys. They don't used to that kind of a life. And before you know it, when they see me in that bus, they begin to hail. And when they are shouting, the other ones will be looking at. How did you come about knowing these people? I will dodge, I will get down. Once the bus move, they will see me. They will begin to flow together. So I let them to realize that when you are in a room, you be like a room. When you are in Russia, you look at the Russia. It doesn't matter our background. You can't leave our background. But again, we need to be focused. We need to understand the dynamics of life. We need to be learned. We need to be exposed so that when this is talking, you are there. When that is talking, you are there. So by bros, education is key, and that we have preached. I mean, I have some of them now teaching, and some of them I've given a lot of people money for WAEC, even for lessons, But in the end, I don't know that I can't read again. You can't do it. It's about focus. It's about commitment. But again, the age sometimes is not on the side. Anyway, my advice is just that if you cannot read, do let us pass that on to our kids. Let's ensure that the kids have a better education. Anyway, let's give glory to God. Okay. The journey so far, I mean, I give it to my parents first, my mom and dad. Okay. You see, my dad, I came from a family of five. We never grew up and met them as husband and wife. Okay. They have actually divorced.
Wow.
Okay. But the truth of the matter, even when they divorced, we never had that gap was even close. We never even felt that we are not living with our parents. Okay? Because my dad doesn't joke with education. Okay? Anything you need when it comes to education, you will get it. Even if the only way you can even get money from my dad is about education. Even if you are not doing something and you tell them that you want to buy this in relating to your academics, you will be given. And he made us to realize then that it is about our life, not his own life. He has done his own. Okay? So it's better you just take the right steps. I am here, right, to support. The ball is now in your court. Determine which one you want. Whether you want to be serious with your life or not. Right when we were in secondary school. Okay? And at that point, he made us to realize, my dad, come with your results, even if you are the first in the class, he even look at your percentage and tells you that, come, you guys are dollar in your class. If you took the first position and your percentage is 65%, 65%, and you are the first, definitely you guys in that class, you are brilliant. So imagine the percentage you are going to have the 10th position, perhaps under 50. So that is how detailed my dad is when it comes to academic. And guess what? Even if you are taking first position, you still have to look at your percentage. you know, that you must not have nothing less than 80-something percentage, and that's where you have an handshake, and he will not give you money. You know, so you now put that one on our head to really see that that is your life, you know, and that has been my strength, because you don't even want to disappoint him. Okay, and I'll give you a short story. Let me just tell you the way both of them have contributed. Okay, now when I enter Polytechnic after my ND, immediately, but before the ND, I gained admission to the University of Lagos. I completed the ND, and I walked up to my dad, and I said, I want to run the HND, Paris Passo, with the PSC in the flag. And he was like, I didn't want to do it. This is it. But that time, I felt he was looking at the money, perhaps he doesn't have. And I wanted to collect the form with my sets, you know. But I look at his body language. He said, okay, we'll be thinking about it. And I ran to my mom. Mom, I want to do this. The form is closing so date. And I've gone to meet my dad. Look what he said. And my mom gave me money to go and take that HND form. Later, my dad gave me back. Okay, but he never knew that I've taken it. Okay, and guess what? I work with all those certificates. I work with my ND, I work with my HND, and I work with my BSc. Okay, I mean, just imagine, you know. So I give glory to both of them. But somehow I tell my dad a lot, and he does more than. It's just like a mother, you know. It goes. My dad can go in lengths to just ensure that you are fine. Up to now, you can imagine how we are. If today I give it back to a new baby, I have to go to his house for the naming. As we speak today, all of us still go back there to celebrate Salah.
Wow.
Till today, as we speak, all of us. I am the second born, right? All of us today. No, nothing you will do. He will not allow you to do it in your house. You have to go to his house in Lekki, and that's how the closeness is. You know, when he even came here, he was even to say, "Brother Ahmed, take my picture and put it there." I can't object. Definitely, that's exactly what I even do. You know, why will I be celebrating myself? I will be celebrating my dad. Again, another person, you know, I will not forget in my journey, my elder brother Aziz, Engineer Opeifa Aziz, and a mentor, Engineer Oyebanjo Ido. We call him ID Nobu. Okay? He's a technical officer for this Presidential Power Initiative for the federal government. Wow. You know, this is where he stays anytime you come from Abuja. Wow. You know, of course, we are very close. He's a teacher. Okay? This is somebody that when you have a child that is a dullard, ID will open the child's brain. I mean, ID is so talented that he understands how to pass information to his students. It was even ID that made me to realize that no student is a dullard. It is by virtue of how they are being taught. Okay? And eventually, truly, I got to understand that. Because when I started teaching, I realized that it's just because the way people were teaching people. You know, some teachers will confuse you more as a student. Okay? Why some will give you all the information you need and you will never forget. Okay? It's been a couple of years I left school. As I'm speaking to you, I've not been going to, but there are some things I will not forget in my life. You know, talk of calculus, talk, think about it. You know, like transformations, yes. You know, they are there. You know, the reason is that is because the way I was taught. So Heidi has done a lot of work. Heidi has produced a lot of students that won't forget him today. You know, and of course, this is how we are till today. You know, so I mean, I don't even surprise where he is because the brain is just a lot of technocrats in Nigeria. He is one of them in power sector. When we talk of power sector in this country, basically in protections, he's the master.
Wow.
You know, so I give it to him. I will never forget him. I just hope that he equally eat the fruit of his own labor too. You know, and of course, a couple of friends. You know, of course, I can't do without friends. You know, in those days when we go to school, You want to buy this. Sometimes you don't have all the resources at the same time. You have a couple of friends that comes to you, and of course, my blessed my late wife. Blessed memory. She has been supportive. I think she even made Spanish to come to life. She actually bought 95% of all the things I use in Spanish.
Wow.
I work in offshore. I'm not always in
town.
Okay. She does all the purchase. Once we calculate, we agree. She go out there and get, all the equipment. And she always look for a way to reduce costs for me. She always look for a way to reduce the burden. But again, we cannot question God.
Yeah.
That is how God has said it will. And of course, today we thank God.